See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage, 402-420-6277, or judsonirrigation.com.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour, every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine and light winds. Should be a beautiful day with a high around 70. Tonight, clear skies and a light breeze with a low around 47. And tomorrow, we'll see increasing clouds, a little bit breezy but warm, and a high around 84. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Southeast Community College invites you to check out our spaces ahead of your official campus visit. Our virtual campus tours let you see our campuses and learn more about our programs of study. Then you can schedule your individual visit in person or virtually. Virtual tours of our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, and our learning centers are online at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com. You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Mike Minner, what's up, bro?
When you look at Dylan, you're looking at quarterbacks that kind of come around once every 20 years. And this is a kid I'm looking at, I don't know how old he is, 17, 18 years old. And he is already directing things that 17, 18-year-old kids should not even know. Changing the line protection. Okay, guys, I don't know what we've been 2 weeks of practice. Come on, man. Well, we got guys in the National Football League that can't do that.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to Happy Hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, maybe I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh, welcome in. Happy Friday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert here, and no Rico today. So Austin Norman is there. What's up, Austin?
Hey, Nick. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, my man. Happy Masters Day 2. They got stuff going on time this morning. Bryson DeChambeau is even on the day, still in the lead. Scotty Scheffler just teed off a little bit ago as well.
Scotty good.
Scotty is very good. Scotty is very good. And he really turned it on in the back nine yesterday. Sky Scheffler, very good. We got a lot of stuff to get to over the course of the next hour or so, potentially longer. I may be sticking around with Austin from 2 to 3. May not, may be. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the future plays out. But you guys can chime in for the rest of the afternoon. 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are both open for you guys the entire show today. Eric says, "Oh yay, it's Nick," and that's what
I'm thinking.
That's exactly what everybody's thinking, especially Eric. Eric's one of my biggest cheerleaders, and I appreciate Eric for all the support day in and day out.
We all need cheerleaders, especially in this industry where it's so easy to feel alone. And you're just talking to yourself sometimes.
Yep.
So having cheerleaders to support you, that love you, that are there for you day after day, it really does mean the world.
And maybe one of these days I'll be able to see Eric once again in person. I believe I've met Eric once, and very kind in person, but he's also one of those guys that I could see hiding behind the keyboard. and
Keyboard
Eric,
warrior.
Yeah, he's just kind of an angry keyboard warrior. And Eric, it's a Friday, man. You don't want to be cranky on a Friday.
You can't be cranky on a Friday.
It's also beautiful out.
Oh, it's so nice. It's incredible.
I can't tell you how much I wish either Husker baseball or softball had a home series.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about getting out to the party porch sometime in the near future.
The Pepsi party porch.
Yep.
And the reason being, because this has kind of flipped and done a complete 180. Nebraska baseball and softball may have alcohol next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They may have alcohol next week. And there was a Board of Regents meeting today. Chris Kaborik, the interim president, and Troy Dannon, the athletic director. There's a lot of new names that we got to remember. The two of those two guys have agreed to a deal with Nebco, who is On the Block sponsor.
Shout out.
You feel like maybe Austin Strick played a part in that?
Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. Who's to say?
Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But then they also are majority owners of the Haymarket Park in Hawks Field. And so
can I just shout them out too for coming to a really good solution to where money is going back into Haymarket Park.
Yes.
Right. That's mutually beneficial. Nebco benefits, the Huskers benefit, the Salt Dogs benefit. I get why these sides would want their money, but they both use Haymarket Park. So the simplest thing to do was probably the hardest thing to do. Let's just keep the money right here and use that money to improve Haymarket Park. I love that solution.
That's the thing. And it's unique, which allows it to then, it's like, once again, it's not being talked about enough. Like the solution and it's great that now, alcohol is going to be available to people pending the Board of Regents vote next Friday, the 19th, which, let's be real, there's no real reason why it shouldn't pass,
right? Especially
when it's passed for other sports. Yeah. And there's been, little to none issues looking back in recent history. But guys, here's the deal is the way that it's structured needs to be celebrated because it's not just a generic 50-50 split or 90-10, which was originally discussed, or even a 70-30. This is a basically 100% to each side. They'll both have say in kind of things that get upgraded. And along the lines of Will Bolt always talking about, this is what we need to, be able to compete in a regional, and we need to host a regional. You do those things and you gain and grow the brand of Nebraska baseball and Salt Dogs baseball for that matter by upgrading facilities. You like Kansas State just did it.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful down there in Manhattan. The new baseball facility is incredible. But now Nebraska's going to have a chance to do that. And it will benefit, as Austin said, the Huskers and the Salt Dogs.
And not that Haymarket Park or Nebraska's facilities are bad. Let's get that out. Haymarket Park is obviously very nice, professionally kept up, professionally maintained for the Salt Dogs and the Huskers. I know the Royals came up and have used some of Nebraska's pitching lab equipment. So it's not like Nebraska doesn't have stuff. But maybe it's lost in the football conversation. Maybe it's lost in the Pinnacle Bank conversation or Devaney being ahead of the game. What Nebraska has is nice. But this, to me, Nick, is another way that Nebraska can really plant its flag as the Big Ten's flagship baseball program. Keep investing in it. Start dominating this league. Turn into the Gonzaga of Big Ten baseball.
Of course.
More money into the facilities, making it nicer, new equipment, new technology, maybe more seating, whatever it is that comes to pass, can only help Nebraska just even be taken slightly more seriously on a national scale.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, we brought up the hypothetical scenario a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago when it was announced that all right, they're at an impasse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of like, imagine an SEC fan base coming up to Lincoln for a regional, and number one, the crowds in the ballpark might not be as great because they're choosing to be outside of the ballpark, either tailgating on their own or at other local establishments, which is great for the community and the economy in the community. But that'll settle itself on its own. But then within the stadium, it's what's the fan experience like in the stadium? And when those LSU fans go back down to Baton Rouge and talk about Lincoln, and when once this is a big deal. This is a big deal for the fan experience. We talk so much about that regarding football. And I said this morning, and I still feel the same way. It's like, now that the giant or overarching cloud of like, all right, can we talk about alcohol at sporting events? Can we not talk about it? UNL's a dry campus. Can't really, it's been an awkward feel. Here we go. Like, bring on the sponsorships, bring on the money, embrace it, because that's what fans are going to love. It gives fans a reason to come out initially to the ballpark. And I said it this morning, it gives, especially for Salt Dogs too. And we see it year in and year out, whether it's promotional nights like Tall Boy Tuesday or $2 beer nights or college night with the Stars, with the Salt Dogs, with anybody. Now Nebraska can play into the promotions, and now Nebraska can grab sponsorship money, and they don't have to like awkwardly talk about it and be like, yeah, you know what? There's a group of them that want it, but we can't really say that publicly that we want it.
Right.
It's just it's been a very weird situation because of a couple of bodies that are around those parts. And it's like, and that's not a negative. I'm not trying to call them out or be negative, because that's fine. You can have your opinion, but now it's like, okay, let's fully embrace it. Doesn't mean let's have a party. Doesn't mean we don't have to. We don't have to chuck beer. We don't have to. We don't have to throw it on the field. Don't have to have issues. But I said it this morning. Initially, it'll bring people out to the ballpark, but the product on the field, which you hope is growing and improving because of the alcohol money, in part to building facilities and getting Nebraska even more on the map, will then get the product on the field. Will get people to come back.
Or stay there.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. The biggest hang up I had with people who didn't want it is legitimately, what are the downsides? They've tried alcohol at other Nebraska events and haven't had problems. Other places across the country have. I can get if you don't want to drink, but no one's saying, okay, you came to the ballpark, now you have to drink. If you don't buy a beer, you can't. That's not the case. It's just there as an option. And Husker fans, if you don't trust other Husker fans with beer, that's on you. Like, you've watched games next to these people for years, and there haven't been issues. So it makes you think just because it's at Haymarket Park or Bowling Stadium that there are going to be issues. Trust each other, be mature, and really, Husker fans are passionate. We see that across sports, but Husker baseball, has that strong, dedicated following, but they're still mature.
Yeah,
they're still respectful. And why would we assume that alcohol would necessarily bring out the worst in them instead of, give them just maybe that one extra, little enhancement to their experience?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good change for Nebraska baseball. Not only because of hopefully drawing fans to the ballpark, even in the earlier season games, maybe potentially, right? But also like just the experience, the overall experience of now it being a spot to where on a Sunday afternoon, instead of listening to it on the radio, which is fine, or watching it on the Big Ten Network, now you can go out and say, you know what? It's 95 degrees. Let's go enjoy a Saturday at the ballpark, and let's get a hot dog and a beer. Sit out on the Pepsi porch. General admission tickets. This doesn't make ticket prices go up. No. Tickets are still extremely affordable.
Make them go down.
Yeah, ticket prices are extremely affordable, right? And don't forget, Nebraska is still in first place in the Big Ten Conference. Yeah. And so, there's a good enough product right now in Nebraska baseball sitting here, has enough momentum with their record and with some success that they've had in the early parts of the season, that when it does get approved by next Friday or on next Friday, I expect next weekend's crowd to be pretty darn good. And I hope it is, because I believe that's the time Iowa.
It'd be Maryland.
Maryland, who was Big Ten's champion last year. Maryland comes into town.
How's your boy Matt Shaw doing, by the way?
Good, really good. Matt Shaw, Cubs shortstop, can also play second and third base though. Nonetheless, which is good for the future because of Dansby. You locked down Dansby for 7 years, so you want somewhere else that you can go. Nonetheless, when you look at Nebraska though, like let's get a good crowd out there for games that are not just the ones against Iowa or the ones on a Sunday afternoon when it's 90 degrees. Like let's pack Haymarket a little bit more. And I think it's going to be a really good response for Nebraska baseball and softball, because that's a big forgetting part in this one as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we haven't talked enough about all the injuries that softball's gone through. Another couple yesterday that were announced. So, maybe the softball team and fans would be drinking their sorrows away, but the team's still doing fine, still hanging around. This is one of those stats that makes sense, but I didn't know for sure. Nick, Nebraska baseball is the only team in the Big Ten not to have double-digit losses yet.
Wow.
Nebraska sits at 22-8. The next fewest losses in the conference right now, Maryland and Penn State, along with Rutgers, have only lost 12 games. So Nebraska could get swept by Rutgers and still have the fewest losses in the conference.
Well, and in turn, remind me, Rutgers, where are they standing currently?
They are 1-5 in conference. Got swept by Purdue last weekend.
There it is. So like this is now let's talk about the on-field stuff. Nebraska, like you're getting ready for a 5 p.m. first pitch out east in Piscataway, New Jersey against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And you have some supreme confidence with Brett Sears on the mound. And it's such a refreshing feeling to have that on the mound after not only the midweek performances, but also just the last couple of years. It's really been since Cade Povich that Nebraska hasn't been solid on a specific day for the entirety of the season. And to this point, what are we, almost 30 games in? If not, I think we're
right,
over 30,
right at 30.
Right at 30 games in. You have a guy that, number one, is undefeated. He's been National Pitcher of the Week. He's been Conference Pitcher of the Week multiple times. Like this is a day where it's like, all right, don't waste it. Like Nebraska at some point can't ever waste a Brett Sears outing. They need to keep it on, and then help their guys out maybe a little bit more on Saturday and Sunday, while the pitchers on Saturday and Sunday help themselves out a little bit more too.
Right. Seeing Brett Sears really dominate the way he has. When I heard his name thrown around as the dude in the rotation from the Northwoods League, I was like, really? This is the guy we're pinning our hopes on? Brett Sears has been a revelation.
Oh, so
it's amazing how in any sport, but especially baseball, how knowing your rhythm and knowing your routine can make you so much better. I mean, Brett Sears in the middle of the bullpen was so uncomfortable warming up in the middle of the game. He didn't like it, but being able to have his pregame routine down, to focus, do everything he goes through. Evan Bland wrote a good piece about it the other day. How comfortable he is as a starter. You're seeing that play out every Friday night.
Yeah.
And then Mason McConaughey has really stepped up these last couple of days. And Drew Christo is still figuring some things out. But I think if you told us at the beginning of the year, Drew Christo was your Sunday guy, you feel pretty good about how he's come along.
I also think you're saying finally, right? Like at some point, Nebraska fans, myself included here in this conversation, I think you too, Austin, we've been waiting for Drew to break through.
For something, anything.
Yeah, it's just been like, find something that sticks to the wall consistently. And if that's the fact that he would be a middle innings guy, okay, that's fine.
Better nothing.
But also, if he can get you 4 scoreless on a Sunday, well, guess what? When you got a good Friday and Saturday guy, specifically one of those two, your bullpen's in a lot better shape on Sunday, and you can handle 6 innings of bullpen work each weekend. However, once again, if you don't have a guy on Friday or you don't have a guy on Saturday that you can truly rely on week in and week out, you use 4 or 5 pitchers on Friday or Saturday. Man, that Sunday you're asking a lot from a guy that his strength is not to go out and get 6.
Or you're asking a lot from the offense.
Yep.
Either way.
And we saw that doesn't work on Tuesday night.
It hasn't worked consistently for Nebraska in the midweek, on the weekends, whatever. I mean, baseball is such a complex game that can be so simple.
Absolutely.
Get a good Friday night start, and the rest of the weekend, more often than not, falls into place.
All right. Once again, 402-464-5685. So once again, Nebraska baseball gets ready for Rutgers out east. Goodness. Directionally challenged here. Out east tonight, 5 p.m. first pitch for that one. Husker softball also out in Piscataway this weekend. So Nebraska softball getting ready for their set against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights over the next 3 days. So we'll keep you updated on that one as the Masters are continuing to unfold. Scheffler has tied Bryson DeChambeau at the top at the leaderboard. Scheffler a couple of holes behind Bryson DeChambeau, so he will have a chance to really get in that lead if he is able to take advantage of a couple of holes that Bryson just really has struggled at times today. But both guys looking good. Tiger Woods, last time I checked, was 1 over. The cut is approximately 4 over today. So as of right now, Tiger Woods somewhat comfortable in that spot of +1, making it to the final 2 days.
He's made 23 straight Masters cuts. I think he's going for 24.
Yeah.
That is incredible, despite all the issues he's been through.
Yeah,
to still at least make the cut.
Max Homa, who's one of the best wedge players on the tour, one of the best short games on the tour. He's at 6 under. He was tied for the lead with DeChambeau. I think he was at one point solo lead after DeChambeau bogeyed early in his round. But at the top, it's Scotty Scheffler and Bryson DeChambeau, 7 under, while Bryson is through 8 holes. Scotty Scheffler moves on to hole number 3. Max Homa is at 6 under, and that is about it. There's your 1, 2, 3 out in Augusta, Georgia. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we got plenty more to get to. A little bit of the Kentucky basketball conversation. They hire a Mark Pope from Brigham Young University, BYU, making the trek down to Lexington to start his new gig. We'll talk about it coming up next, whether or not we believe they made the right hire. Is a bad hire the same thing as an underwhelming hire? We'll talk about that when we return. It's Nick Stainert, Austin Norman with you, Rico and DP en route to Atlanta as the Supernovas have a match tomorrow night against the Atlanta Vibe. Atlanta Vibe, number 1 in the Pro Volleyball Federation standings. So a big one there. Atlanta's won 2 matches in Omaha. Omaha has won 1 match against the Vibe in Atlanta. So currently Atlanta leads the series 2-1, but we'll see if both teams can take the other 2 on the road and even it up at 2 matches apiece tomorrow night. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we talk about Kentucky basketball and we dive into a little Husker football. When we return, you're listening to the Happy Hour. Huge thanks to Empire Fence and Netting for their support as always. And we'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, I'm Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work and grit at a young age. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. I know that families and businesses in our community need lower taxes, lower cost of healthcare, and a great education. That's why, as your senator, I helped pass the largest tax cut and made the most significant investment in education in Nebraska history and worked to reduce the cost of healthcare. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs. Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and our annual spring sales event is now underway. We have absolutely huge savings right now at Koppel. New Sierras and new Silverados have a double whammy. Choose from APRs starting at 1.9% or discounts over $9,000. Yes, that's right, 1.9% APR or discounts of over $9,000. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street just south of the interstate or check us out online at CoppelCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch your favorite MLB teams this spring and summer, as well as Nebraska baseball. Enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early and grab your spot and settle in for an afternoon or evening of baseball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Hockey season is winding down for the Lincoln Stars. Our final home game is Friday, April 12th, as we take on the Sioux City Musketeers at 7:05 at the Icebox. It's Fandemonium all night long as we salute our great fans with prizes throughout the game. Don't miss out on your last chance to catch the Stars take the ice this regular season. Purchase your tickets now at LincolnStars.com.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch your favorite MLB teams this spring and summer, as well as Nebraska baseball. Enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early and grab your spot and settle in for an afternoon or evening of baseball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill. Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design, take a computer course, learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage, 402-420-6277, or judsonirrigation.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
When you're in New York, Nick, in New York, I mean, you're talking about, you see mafioso types. You go into a restaurant and you would literally eat. Hey, come on over here. You know, they I don't know how to say it. I don't got the accent, but they would say, come, Strick, come here, come over. Have a drink on me. And what are you going to do? Say no?
You not say
you
no
don't
to that?
say no to the drink. You don't say no.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Even before you start. That was a preemptive shh.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I already had someone created in my image. He's evil, he wants to take over the world, and he fits easily into most overhead storage bins.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the show. Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Hammond text line are both open for you guys. The rest of the way here, good stuff so far. A little bit of Husker baseball conversation in that first segment. If you missed, they're going to be voting on beer and alcohol sales next Friday after Nebco, the Abel family, and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, led by Chris Kaborik and Troy Dannon, have come to an agreement on all proceeds, profits, if you will. I suppose not proceeds, but profits and funds will go right back into the development of Haymarket Park. So moving on, switching sports, going onto the basketball court, Mark Pope, former BYU head coach, has been tabbed as the next leader of University of Kentucky men's basketball after Calipari departs for Arkansas. By quick note, with Calipari, sounds like he's going to be bringing all of his assistants with him from Kentucky to Arkansas. Before we get to Mark Pope, I'll ask you, Austin, I'll put you on the spot here, unfortunately. Same process, same philosophy, new address. Is that how we're viewing Calipari at Arkansas now?
Probably, but also maybe not. Okay. I think that contrary to popular opinion, Coach Cal did a good job of adjusting this last year. Obviously not enough in the end of the season. I mean, letting Golke go off for 10 threes on you in the loss. Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham even struggled in that game, and those are probably their two most important players. So he wasn't perfect, but Kentucky has struggled shooting the three for like the last 5-6 years under Coach Cal, and they just had their best shooting team in recent memory. He stopped playing two bigs together, went 4 round one, even some 5 out.
Yes.
So I do think that Coach Cal has modernized a lot of what he did, and I think that going to Arkansas is just a fresh start and a clean break, because I think John Calipari, more often than not, was in kind of turtle mode. Always very defensive, not in terms of the way his teams played on the court, very offensive minded, but I think we're going to see a legitimately rejuvenated and refreshed John Calipari at Arkansas, because he's going to feel support, because he's going to know that everyone has his back, not always looking over his shoulder. And not that John Calipari, his resume is pretty unimpeachable. He's done a lot of good stuff, but he was there for 15 years.
Yeah.
And he didn't get along with the AD at all. So if your boss is just kind of begrudgingly keeping you around because he knows he can't fire you, and you're not getting, support in other ways, whether it's, facilities or NIL, whatever it is, I can understand why John Calipari would be a little reticent at Kentucky. So I think knowing he's supported and seeing that his changes worked in the regular season, I think we're going to see a rejuvenated John Calipari at least for a few years at Arkansas.
And that's really all Arkansas needs, I think, right? Like Arkansas has an opportunity under John Calipari's leadership to where they can be viewed as a top 3 or 4 program in the SEC for the next 4 or 5 years. Calipari's there for 5 years, and the guy's 65 years old. You expect this to be his last job.
If it's not, I'm shocked.
You expect this to kind of be his last contract too. Once again, I'll piggyback on what Austin just said there. If it's not his last contract, I'll be shocked.
Did something go right or wrong if it's not his last contract?
Something went right.
Oh, and see, I would think something went wrong.
I would view it as we're having unparalleled success, and I got this thing cooking with we're cooking with gas. The assistants are getting jobs. We're filing through, and the NIL is as strong as it's ever been, which could be true. We're winning basketball games at a high enough level and percentage. It's not easy, but I got it running.
Yeah,
I don't want to leave. The competition piece.
That's fair.
That's how I view it. I could also see it, I guess, on the flip side of where if it's going bad too. But I would say you can if things aren't going as planned or poor, then you can chalk it up to this guy's 70 years old. We'll never actually know if it was really going bad.
I learned this the other day too. So the coaching search that brought Coach Cal to Kentucky to begin with, you get 3 guesses for the other 2 candidates.
I don't even have a guess.
One was Tom Izzo.
Okay.
The other was Travis Ford.
Yeah.
I think Kentucky made the best choice there.
I think so too. So when you look at now Kentucky, right? Mitch Barnhart, the AD, as you mentioned, didn't get along with Calipari as well as probably somebody could. I also think just after 15 years, you have one title, and fans will now look with the recruiting rankings of as available as they are, and they'll say, listen, we know the talent that you're recruiting. Why isn't it resulting in championships? And I think people and boosters and fans will get impatient. And now just the landscape of college athletics, we talk so much about the impatience or the lack of patience from athletes. What about the lack of patience from fans and boosters and the people that make the decisions, ADs? You're firing coaches year in and year out because they're not winning, quote unquote, whatever that benchmark of enough wins is for your program. So now you look at Calipari and say, okay, you haven't won a title since what was it, 2012? 2012. Yeah, you've been there in the last 10 years, because I believe they were there in the Final Four in 2018 down in Dallas, down in Arlington, or it was 2014 down in Arlington. And it's like, okay, you've been there.
And then 2015 in Indy.
What hardware do you have to show for it? And and it's at some point you stack that thought process on top of, yeah, you know what? Now that we're talking about this, Calipari is kind of stale. It's been here 15 years. It's kind of run its course. Maybe it is time just to kind of part ways and move on. And now we talk about Mitch Barnhart, where for a relatively fresh AD at Kentucky, had a legendary coach to replace. And while he struck out, we talked to you said it, and I actually mentioned you on the morning show today, because I said, Austin pointed out perfectly on let's see a blue blood flex their muscles, right? And say, yeah, we're going to take a guy from you. They weren't able to do that.
And I kind of went a little further on that during On the Block. The Twitter clip that we posted is out there. Go check it out at 93.7 The Ticket or Austin_Orman. It's out there. I can't blame Scott Drew or Dan Hurley for not taking the job.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Mark Pope. I think Kentucky got a good coach, but man, I wanted to see some chaos. I wanted people to be so mad at Kentucky, say, oh, where's the parity in this sport? Or, oh, I mean, look at the rich getting richer. I wanted to see a big time move from Kentucky. We got a good move, but I wanted to see a bit of a seismic shakeup because I think the sport needs it.
Yes.
And if Kentucky wants to get back to winning titles, it absolutely, I think, needed to take a bigger swing.
So there's a couple things here. Let's talk about that real quickly, because it's almost to the thought of you have a chance as Kentucky to reinvigorate your fan base. Once again, we just talked about the stale feeling. It's not that your fan base wasn't into Kentucky basketball. That's not what I'm getting at here. It's that, yeah, when a new coach comes along, you have a chance to really energize your fan base in a different way than when you're 15 years into with a single coach. And I don't blame Dan Hurley or Scott Drew for staying at their spots. They have it really, really good where they are. But it's also like, is this a Kentucky issue? Is this a Kentucky issue to where you were not able to flex your muscles enough?
My Kentucky friends, I have a couple of them, say this is less of a Kentucky thing and more of a Mitch Barnhart thing.
Okay.
And this gets me ever so slightly concerned about the future of Nebraska men's basketball.
I'm right there with you. And I'm glad you said this.
We haven't seen enough from Troy Danon to know for sure. But Mitch Barnhart has now made 3 hires for the men's basketball team at Kentucky. One was Billy Gillespie, who lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
Widely panned as the worst or one of the 3 worst basketball coaches in Kentucky history.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a problem. Hired John Calipari. My buddies are saying he was just the figurehead of the search and didn't do a lot of the legwork. And now Mark Pope, who's an alum, who this is the biggest job he will ever take in his life.
Never has a reason to leave.
Never has a reason to leave, who wanted Kentucky more than Kentucky wanted him. So I think Kentucky, the job itself, is still wildly appealing. It is a top 5 job in college basketball beyond a doubt. But I think Mitch Barnhart has shifted so much recently to college football, to getting that up and running under Mark Stoops.
Which, by the way, they almost lost.
They almost did. It would have, if not for A&M throwing a revolt.
It was an A&M reason that they didn't lose their coach.
So, to me, this doesn't say a lot about Kentucky.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mitch Barnhart just isn't as involved or invested in college basketball. He's not interested. Or if Mitch Barnhart just truly does not grasp how much weight he has to throw around with Kentucky. Is Dan Hurley worth $20 million a year in salary? No. Is Dan Hurley worth $20 million per year in salary, NIL, and assistant coach pool? Probably.
Yeah.
It's going to be expensive. And let's not pretend like Kentucky hasn't been in the national title conversation. They beat UConn, or lost to UConn in 2014 in the title game, lost in the Final Four to Wisconsin the next year. Second round exit, lost to Carolina on that Luke May buzzer beater just a couple of years after that. So Kentucky has always been around the conversation. The job is still good. It's hard to win a championship, but that's not just the goal. That's the objective.
Yeah.
At Kentucky. And if you're going to operate as a championship or bust program, you got to spend money to make money. You will make it back. Flex the muscle. Get not just a guy, get the guy.
402-464-5685. Austin said something there in the midst of that where this is the biggest job that Mark Pope is going to ever take, or frankly, what we expect to be offered in his mind specifically, because he is an alum.
Yeah.
And to that point, and this is where I want the text line to have thoughts. Send them our way, 464-5685 on the Starter Heyman text line, or feel free to call in on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Same number there. Is it a bad thing if your coach is not chasing bigger jobs? Is it a bad thing if your coach is not chasing bigger jobs? And I truly, this is just something that popped into my head. This is not a preconceived thought, preconceived agenda item that was on my list. I mentioned that to Austin pre-show. I said, listen, this feels like a hire that Kentucky could have waited a few weeks, potentially a month, and still gotten Mark Pope. You could have waited till what I truly believe with Mark Pope specifically 2 months before the season started. Hey, listen, we still don't have a coach. You want to come be the coach? And he would have said yes in a heartbeat.
Yes.
And they're now paying him 5 years, $5.5 million a year, which would have made him the 6th highest paid coach in college basketball per annual salary last season. And it's for a guy who had success at BYU. It's not us. This is not us trying to pass him off as he's a career loser or a career 500 type of coach. This is a guy that has a career record of 187 and 108. It wins 63% of his games. Started his career back in 2015 as a head coach at Utah Valley before taking over BYU in 2019. 2 times he's been to the NCAA tournament, 0 NCAA tournament wins. Now, going back to my point of this is one that you could have waited on. And it feels for this moment and this early in the search underwhelming. Doesn't make it a bad hire.
Right.
It does not make it a bad hire because, once again, going back to that in energy and invigorating your fan base, Mark Pope is going to be able to do that. I think there are questions, though, despite NIL commitments already from boosters, about recruiting. I think there's curiosities about development and what type of philosophy you're going to have at Kentucky. But so, Austin, I'll get your thoughts before we continue on that point of, is it bad if your coach? Is it a bad thing if your coach isn't chasing a bigger job? But first off, it's underwhelming on April 12th. On May 12th, it would have been a good hire.
Yes. I mostly agree. The one caveat to that is transfer portal's open.
And you're right.
That's how Mark Madsen's going to have to build this team. We don't know who's coming and who's going from that recruiting class that John Calipari put together.
You're right.
Sure, some of them are going to Arkansas. Maybe some of it would have loved to have played for Coach Cal, but it's really about Kentucky for them, wearing that name across the front of their jersey. Maybe it's Lexington. I don't know. Regardless of how many stay or go, Mark Pope's going to have to use the transfer portal to put a team together.
Yeah.
The window is closing by the day. Guys are starting to commit. Yeah, there's still some entry going on. But in this day and age of college basketball, I can understand why Kentucky wanted a coach in place as soon as possible because of just how fast things move with the transfer portal and how important it is to have a team in place almost as early as you can get it at this point. But that doesn't change the fact that this is Kentucky. There are resources. And it's not just as simple as throw money at the problem, it'll fix it. Kentucky is a big enough name, a big enough brand that if a player's interested in Kentucky, and that's where they think they can have the best chance at the NBA, sure, some will want to commit early, but some will say, man, I really want to play Kentucky. I like how Mark Pope has developed his guys. I'm willing to wait. Semester's almost done. I won't be taking summer classes because I'm an older guy, so I can afford to take my time with this decision. I don't know if Kentucky ends up getting Billy Donovan if they wait, a couple weeks. I tend to fall with Strick, where the NBA comfort lifestyle.
Yeah.
Probably a tough sell, but Kentucky never aggressively pursued him.
Yep.
Why not? That's the part that gets me.
It's Mitch Barnhart.
It's Mitch Barnhart. They never really had serious conversations with Rick Pitino, which I think that's a blessing in disguise for them. I don't like getting back together with the ex in that situation.
I agree.
Mark Pope already has $4 million in NIL from a couple of boosters. That's huge. That's like, okay, I would rather have that than not have that. But if you wait, to your point, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and at least try to get a bigger name, how much more goodwill do you build up to the fan base that, hey, he didn't settle. We at least tried to get the biggest fish out there. Hey, timing wasn't right. Now the Big Blue Nation always has, all the screws tight as can be up top. But I think most people would generally understand, hey, we're Kentucky. We took the big swings. Timing wasn't right. For our fallback plan, we got an alum who is a captain on one of our best teams in school history. We're good with him as a fallback option. We can throw all our support behind him. But I think there are plenty of fans who, to your point, are going to say, really? You're not even going to try to even understand Kentucky basketball?
Yeah. And once again, Mark Pope has a good looking record. On paper, it's fine. Maybe not the postseason accolades that Kentucky fans would have liked to have out of their next head coach. I made a comment about chasing jobs. And there's a part of me, once again, as this has freshly popped into my mind of thinking on the fly here, there's a part of me where, is it a good thing if your coach is always striving for more? Not just there's personal goals there as well. Because a lot about college jobs is about timing. Obviously, as we know, just about any coaching job in either college or professional sports is about timing. And whether or not like successes or failures or what is going on, there's a lot of other circumstances and factors that go into play. But for example, let's just use Matt Rule. Matt Rule, 6 years in, you're still comfortable at Nebraska. You're winning 6, 7, 8 games a year consistently. You're making enough for a bowl game, and Nebraska fans are happy because you brought them back to postseason experience. Do you get complacent?
There's a huge difference in my head between comfortable and complacent.
Yes.
I think we all want coaches of our favorite programs to be content, to feel like they have enough, to not have a wandering eye. To be
I'm
be
interested
grateful
in that job. You know what? Yeah, let's have a conversation.
Right, to be grateful for the resources they do have, but at the same time, like, the Kentucky job doesn't always come open.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to fault a guy
exactly
like a Drew or a Hurley. I don't want to say they're not ambitious. I think they're legitimately at peace with the resources they have, the staffs they have in their situations for not just themselves, but their family.
And I think that's completely valid.
Yes. Now, I would expect them to entertain those conversations because it's Kentucky.
Why not?
If it's 10 years down the road and they've plateaued, they're not getting any better. Baylor just won a championship. UConn just won 2 in a row. These guys have proven they can win at this school. It's not like they're hitting their head on a ceiling and can't break through. Kentucky can't give them anything more than they haven't already accomplished. But would it mean more for legacy to go do it at Kentucky? Probably. But I'm okay with them saying, you know, it is incredibly difficult for me to pass up this opportunity, but it's not just best for me, it's best for my family in this community.
I also don't think, I think personality of the coach matters a lot. And I use Matt Rule just because it's right down the street, not actually because I think he would be one of those coaches. I think you could put any ex-coach, X-name coach there, insert coach name here, and go, all right, well, if they're not striving for a personal goal, is that a bad thing? Would you rather have somebody that's ambitious and goes, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I have enough faith in myself and the way I've done things here at Nebraska or at Kansas State or even at Baylor, where it's, you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty ambitious for another challenge. I think that's a good thing.
Oh, it has to be. You want your coaches always to be searching out, how do we get better? How do we get better? How do we get better? You want your coach to have their sights set on a goal like that, but also why not turn this program I'm at now,
and you got a point,
into that? Because I think it's hilarious. I don't think anything we've said is wrong, but it cracks me up because, especially in college football, it's, oh, well, coaches can move whenever they want. Why can't players? I don't want to talk down on a coach for staying. Isn't that what we want?
Yeah.
Don't we want coaches? Isn't that what we're saying we want? We want coaches to stay put and build something where they're at, not always be jumping. And here are 2 guys that are staying put. Well, why wouldn't you jump? It's Kentucky.
Yeah.
I can see both sides of it.
Well, and that's the thing is, and it sucks for fan bases because we're saying I am saying, yeah, we want a coach to be ambitious and say, and like, I can't blame so-and-so if they looked at Kentucky or if they looked at Alabama football, or like, you can't blame a guy that, number one, because that means your program at wherever they're currently at is in a pretty good spot if the top tier programs are looking at your leader. But then also it's like, dang, it sucks because then you got to feel like you restart. And so as a fan, I can see maybe you can more so go on the side of no, let's just get them comfortable here. Let's realize that, you know, you have something good going here. And Baylor fans love Scott Drew for it right now, and rightfully so, because now that he's turned down multiple opportunities at potentially better and more prestigious universities. But
yeah, he's both Louisville and Kentucky now.
Would anybody have blamed him if he would have said, yeah, you know what? I think I am ready for a new challenge. I've had tons of success here. I think I am ready for a new challenge. Let me show, for my legacy's sake, that I can do it somewhere else as well. Nobody would blame him. Let's take a break. We wrap up the happy hour, get you ready for On the Block when we return.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
If the week's been too hectic to even think about dinner, or your family can't handle one more night of leftovers, then it's time to let Hog Wild do the cooking. Hog Wild's family packs are one heck of a good deal for a complete barbecue meal loaded with all the smoked meats, tasty sides, buns, and sauces you need to feed your family. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage, 402-420-6277, or judsonirrigation.com.
Spring is a time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Furor's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Furor's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. And their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Hockey season is winding down for the Lincoln Stars. Our final home game is Friday, April 12th as we take on the Sioux City Musketeers at 7:05 at the Icebox. It's Fandemonium all night long as we salute our great fans with prizes throughout the game. Don't miss out on your last chance to catch the Stars take the ice this regular season. Purchase your tickets now at LincolnStars.com.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine and light winds. Should be a beautiful day with a high around 70. Tonight, clear skies and a light breeze with a low around 47. And tomorrow, we'll see increasing clouds, a little bit breezy but warm, and a high around 84. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Have you been accused of a crime? Is your freedom at stake? At Liberty Law Group, we are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Facing the court is stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. At Liberty Law Group, we believe in treating every person with respect, compassion, and understanding. When legal troubles are keeping you up, trust Liberty Law Group to fight your battles. To learn more, call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
This is a house of learned doctors.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
As soon as your eyes shut, I'm going to punch you square in the face.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We talk a lot of Shohei Ohtani on this show, and
for good reason.
Since Austin is here, I have to bring this up to him. He may or may not already know about it, I guess, and by that he already does. California lawmaker seeks to close Shohei Ohtani's tax loophole. He says, "quote It's a massive hidden ball trick." If you don't know what we're discussing, that Shohei Ohtani, that's $700 million contract where $680 million of it is deferred until after the 10 years of the contract are finished. He, by doing this, will avoid paying an estimated $90 million in California state income taxes as a result of deferring nearly all of his record-setting $700 million contract. New California lawmakers are pushing to change the tax code to prevent Ohtani's contract structure from becoming standardized among high earners in baseball and beyond. State Senator Josh Becker introduced legislation on Wednesday that urges U.S. Congress to, quote, establish a reasonable cap on deferred compensation. Ultimately, Becker said this is about fairness. This is earned income. This is not retirement income. This is income that is earned here and should be taxed here. It wasn't what the federal tax code was meant to contemplate. It is a massive hidden ball trick. Ohtani accepting annual payments of just $2 million from the Dodgers over the life of his 10-year contract, a structure that Ohtani and his representatives said they proposed because it gives the club greater financial flexibility to continue to make major investments in other star players. However, but deferring $680 million of it also sets up Ohtani to avoid paying state taxes on all deferred amounts if he no longer resides in the state of California. Ohtani presumably would return to Japan upon the conclusion of his contract. $90 million in state taxes. Understandable why Ohtani wouldn't want to pay. Also understandable why Senator Becker probably wants it.
Senator Becker says $16 million. That's it. You're trying to take 90 from us? Like, yeah. I am not a fan of being taxed that much.
I would not be either.
I wouldn't be.
I'm not a fan of being taxed as much as we
are.
are.
We are anyways. Right. We're in a relatively low tax state here in Nebraska, all things considered.
We are.
Anyways, that's absolutely beside the point.
No, let's not talk about it. How do you guys feel about? No, I'm just kidding. How do you guys feel about taxes?
Good or bad? Let us know. 402-464-5685.
Yeah, IRS coming down.
The interesting part about that is if they change the law, man already agreed to the contract.
Bingo.
I feel like it'd be unfair to him to make him go back in and renegotiate his contract.
There you go.
After the fact, because he might not have agreed to that contract if it wasn't the way it was.
Definitely not.
So I don't like that. That's fishy. That's kind of backhanded. Here's the thing. It is absolutely a hidden ball trick.
It absolutely
But guess what?
is.
The hidden ball trick is not illegal. You just weren't paying attention. You didn't think of it yourself. And shame on you.
We never thought we'd see a $700 million deal.
No.
I mean, 20 years ago, it was like, no, you're not going to see $700 million over 10 years.
Right. And who doesn't use a tax loophole?
That's true. That's true.
How many of us don't write off our athletic subscriptions or whatever?
Austin's a big tax loophole guy.
Okay, here's my hottest tax take. I am not a fan of getting tax refunds because they shouldn't take out more than they need to begin with.
Okay.
Getting a refund is better than not getting a refund.
Yes.
So I would rather they just don't take too much up front. You know? Get your grubby little hands off.
Would you rather
just what you need?
Hold on. Now, let me ask you this though. Would you rather take more out each check and get a refund, or not take enough and you have to pay?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's better than having to pay more. But
see, because then you never even saw it, and it's like, whoa, Christmas in April,
right?
Christmas
but also, this is the IRS. It's big. It should be able to do math right. I too can use a calculator.
It absolutely should be able to do math right. Shohei, man, he's got a complicated life right now. You got the $16 million that his translator took from him, and now he's being talked about as being a tax evader for $90 million, a legal tax evader, honestly. Here you are. But
as legal, not illegal.
Yeah, legal. Legal. But no, I mean, in all seriousness here, Shohei is in an interesting situation because you're not worth $700 million right now. You don't have $700 million in your bank account right now to where you don't notice the $16 million gone. How do you not notice $16 million gone at some point? How do you not know once again, it's like if you're the translator who is best friends from everything we've heard with Shohei Ohtani, how do you keep that for so long, and how do you continue to take money from one of your best friends for so long when you're not necessarily making chump change? You're making pretty good money as a translator, but ultimately enough. So now Shohei's dealing with that whole situation, which as of right now not listed in an investigation. But man, how do you not know? It just seems so fishy. At 4.5, okay. At 4.5 mil, all right. Yeah, that's just a new level of rich. 16 million, oof, over just 3 years.
The only defense I have for that for Shohei is that I'm one of those people that doesn't track every penny. I know generally what's in the bank account, generally how much I'm spending.
I agree.
So, my wife handles most of the finances, knows more of the details.
We're also creatures of habit.
Creatures of habit.
You're going to know, like, okay, yeah, this week I'm going to spend an extra $600 on an item.
Right. But then with Shohei, like, oh, my card got declined. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Do you take it from checking instead of savings? And then the debit card didn't work or something? I don't know.
Then the bank sends you a letter and says, hey, now you're withdrawing from your savings account, Shohei. You're not supposed to be doing that. So nonetheless. All right, Austin, what's coming up on the block?
You and I are going to talk some baseball. First,
No way.
I know, shocker.
Yes.
Major League Baseball and the Tommy John problem.
Yeah.
Is it really a problem? Are we freaking out over the numbers? Is it just because headliners have gone down? And what can baseball do about it? That's really the conversation we're going to have. I'm just going to throw this out there too. The Royals are getting attention and it scares me. I love it, but it scares me.
We are so early in the season.
Yeah.
All right, all that and more coming up on the show. I'm here until at least 3 o'clock before I got to bow out of here. So Austin will take care of you after that. But no, appreciate Austin sitting in for Rico today. Rico and DP en route to Atlanta, may be close to Atlanta. I think it's only like an hour-and-a-half flight to Atlanta. Not a bad spot down there. Paid a lot of money for a McDonald's meal in the Atlanta airport one time. But we're out of here. Let's talk to you in just a few minutes on the Block.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Lincoln is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and actively involved in our community. Last year, I voted for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history. Property tax relief is important to every family, and I will continue to deliver more property tax relief to working families. This is Carolyn Bozin, and I am asking for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with